Long ago, God's people, the Israelites, were slaves in Egypt. They worked hard under cruel masters and cried out to God for help. God heard them. He chose Moses, a man who once lived in Pharaoh's palace but ran away to the desert. God spoke to Moses from a burning bush and said, "Go to Pharaoh and tell him to let my people go." Moses was afraid, but he obeyed. His brother Aaron went with him. They stood before Pharaoh, the powerful king of Egypt, and delivered God's command. "Let my people go, so they may worship me." But Pharaoh's heart was hard. He refused. These signs were called the 10 plagues. The Egyptians had no clean water to drink. So God sent signs and wonders to show his power, not just to punish Egypt, but to prove that he alone is God. Let's see what happened. Moses struck the Nile River with his staff. The water turned to blood. Fish died. The river stank. Frogs swarmed everywhere. Still, Pharaoh's heart was stubborn. Huge hailstones mixed with fire fell from the sky, destroying crops and killing people and animals left outside. In Goshen, there was no hail. They covered the land and ate everything left after the hail. Pharaoh said they could go, but not with their animals. Moses said no deal. Egypt was ruined. Pharaoh begged again, but changed his mind once the locusts left. Even Pharaoh's magicians couldn't stand before Moses because of the boils. But Pharaoh wouldn't let them go. There was loud weeping everywhere, even in Pharaoh's palace. Pharaoh finally cried out. When the Lord saw the blood, he would pass over their houses, sparing them. God made a difference between his people and the Egyptians. "Leave my people. Take your flocks. Go worship your God." Even Pharaoh's magicians said, "This is the finger of God." But Pharaoh wouldn't listen. They leaped into beds, ovens, and bowls. They showed that God is powerful, just, and faithful. He hears his people's cries and delivers them. Pharaoh begged Moses to pray for them to go away. But when the frogs died, Pharaoh hardened his heart again. Dust turned into tiny, biting gnats that covered people and animals. Swarms of flies filled Egyptian homes. But in the land of Goshen, where the Israelites lived, there were no flies. A deadly disease killed Egypt's horses, cows, sheep, and donkeys. But none of the Israelites' animals died. Painful sores broke out on Egyptians and their animals. Moses warned Pharaoh about a terrible hailstorm. After Pharaoh refused again, God sent locusts. Thick darkness fell over Egypt for 3 days. No one could see or move. But the Israelites had light where they lived. This was the most terrible plague. God warned that every firstborn in Egypt would die, from Pharaoh's son to the lowest servant's child Evan, the firstborn of animals. But God told his people to sacrifice a lamb and put its blood on their doorposts. That night, death struck Egypt. The Israelites hurried out of Egypt free at last. God led them toward the promised land. The 10 plagues weren't just about punishing Egypt. Even today, we remember how God rescued his people and keeps his promises. No matter your situation, always remember God is able. Bless you.